Hello and welcome to Manga 96, and today we're going to talk about Toaru Majutsu no Indeks. Today's topic will be someone who has as many holes in his memory as Swiss cheese. Someone who has the strongest right hook in all of fiction, being able to negate anything with it, making him essentially a one-punch man. He's also a ladies' man, although most girls that are attracted to him aren't in his strike zone. I'm of course talking about Kamijou Touma. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with who Touma is. Touma is the type that acts before he thinks. He can never just sit around upon seeing someone in a pinch and will go to great lengths to protect or help that person. This he does at great risk for himself, which typically results in him being hospitalized for several days after each confrontation. When fighting seriously against a particular strong opponent, Touma will usually first declare that he'll destroy that illusion of theirs before actually engaging. Though this is only a part of Touma's well-meaning nature and kindness. When Himigami Asiya asked him about the reason why he saves people, he answered, "I don't need a reason to save someone." Even when he is in a blank slate after losing his memories, Touma still displays this personality. Although lacking his memories, he does not appear to mope over the loss of them in particular, as the beliefs from his pre-blank state continue to motivate him, allowing him to understand what he needs to do even if he doesn't remember why. However, after losing his memories, he seems to approach people more cautiously, carefully choosing what emotion or mood to display when meeting someone he thinks he might know. This is to prevent them seeing through his ruse and exploiting him. When Touma meets Style once again after saving Indeks, he displayed politeness towards him which made Style suspicious. He then realized his mistake quickly and created an explanation for his behavior. Touma also bears no grudge towards former enemies and is willing to help them if they asked for it. Iwasa has commented that Touma is only doing whatever he feels is right and is labeled righteous by other people impulsively, as he compared the difference between him, Accelerator, and Shiehige. Touma is someone who will follow what he believes regardlessly of what others try to convince him of. In addition, William commented that Touma is just like William Orwell, someone who follows his own ideals no matter what. Though there is a difference between the two. William is someone who stays true to his ideals and firmly believes it is right path no matter what happens and no matter who speaks against it, while Touma does not have set ideals and therefore can be manipulated into helping other people's plots. And when he does do something wrong, Motoharu describes Touma as someone who will carry that mistake all on his own, along with his own. Even so, he works to correct his mistakes in order to bring a smile to everyone's faces at the end of the road, no matter the cost to himself. Even though he is a well-mannered person who is kind to people in general, Touma will not hesitate to strike female opponents who harm innocence or disrespect life, such as Sherry Cromwell, who is going to start a war between science and fate that will result in the death of millions. As well as Agnes Santix, who was tasked to eliminate Ursula, or Oriana Thompson, who hurt Fukushima Seri and Himigami Asiya, or Vento of the Front, who planned to destroy Academy City and anything related to science to settle her grudge on what happened to her brother in the past. Despite his righteous and heroic personality, Touma occasionally displays poor choices of words which result in him getting beaten by Indeks, having bolts of lightning thrown by Misaka Mikoto, and creating misunderstandings with other girls he encounters. During World War III, after his first clash against Fiamma of the Right, when Touma questioned Fiamma's actions about how rightful they both are, Fiamma dared him to confront Indeks about his memory loss, which left Touma saddened due to the guilt. During his fight with Accelerator, he regained his confidence, but the guilt still stays with him. After his return to Academy City, essentially the same, quite unfazed by the many threats to his life, as shown by his nonchalant reaction to Midori attacking him in his own bathroom. Where, after later events, specifically the events that led to the creation of Science Guardian and the distortion that occurred in Baggage City, Touma has started to stop trusting the people he meets, despite the fact that his actions, such as saving someone, are being manipulated into creating more suffering for others. Where, during his confrontation against Levina, Touma finally disregarded his fears of failure, betrayal, or being manipulated. Along with this, Levina sums up his personality, wanting himself to be put into danger instead of other people, having him fight, getting himself hurt as insanity. Indeed, even the will of the whole Misaka network would later question on his unconditional need to place himself below everyone else. Despite Levina being a person who investigates leaders and charismatic leaders, she cannot understand what drives Touma, who promptly tells her that he has no reason to abandon people who need saving in the first place. A clear reference to his "I don't need a reason to save someone." Levina compares him to Aleister Crowley and Laura Stroud and refers to him as having the seeds to do something indescribably great, which will give him great power if he controls it, or will be disastrous for him if he does not. In the Agitate Haltanian arc, Touma was willing to defeat Ransa, knowing full well that he might kill Yakumi Hisako, who had turned into an Aeon and entered Ransa's body with his right hand in order to save her. Where this could also be because he was confident that Ransa would be able to save Hisako before he could destroy her. Indeed, Hisako survived and was spared from being completely destroyed by Imagination Breaker after Touma defeated her due to Ransa's actions. Later, after finally falling into despair in the Omega world, a world where everyone has been saved perfectly and attempted to commit suicide, Touma finally does something for his own convenience after some conviction from the will of the whole Misaka network. Here, he accepts that he wants to go back to his own world, where his actions had meaning instead of being in the perfect world, and was willing for it to be unnamed. Despite this, during his fight with Otinos, the creator of that world, there was still some hesitation in his heart, as he too wanted to protect that perfect world. Those hesitations were later shown to the wind in his battle with Otinos, and after he lost, he conceded victory and the world to her. Supposedly as a result of Imagination Breaker negating his luck, Touma is unfortunate and often bemoans his situation when confronting an unfortunate situation with his famous catchphrase, "Such misfortune." Where, regardlessly of his own misfortune, Touma believes that he is not regretful for being unfortunate and states that he would rather be unfortunate and help people than be fortunate and be happy and not notice people who are suffering. He states that being unfortunate is his fortune and will be the path that he continues to walk on. This has somewhat fallen out of use in New Testament, returning only after his ordeals with Otinos have ended. In conjunction to the above, Touma is often self-deprecating with his fortunes. He had once asked himself why the sky is so blue, but his future is pitch black. This also includes his luck with women. When Misaka 10,032 placed his hands on her chest to measure his life signs, he was incredulous at the situation. Moreover, he is also quite aware that making a move on the powerful women who come to him will be dangerous. The will of the whole Misaka network describes him as unconditionally placing himself below everyone else. Indeed, he downplays his own achievements. In his second battle with Accelerator, he downplays himself in order to deter Accelerator from his obsession of heroes and villains, referring to himself as a mere level 0. This is taken to ludicrous extremes when he fights magic god Otinos and proclaims that he would normally lose to normal magicians despite the achievements he has gathered up to that point. Touma has said on several occasions that he just doesn't understand why people with amazing powers would use them for their own personal gain instead of using them to make the world a better place. Ultimately, though, this makes him no less competent as a hero, as he's still aware that what they do is evil, even he can't understand why. Ironically, despite Touma having many girls attracted to him, he has shown no apparent romantic attraction to them. However, Touma stated that he specifically prefers dorm manager Onesan, elder sister types, as in the case when Kanzaki Kaori when he dreamed her wearing the swimsuit used by Indeks during the Angel Fall incident, and as a kiss from Oriana Thompson when they first met. He also has shown awareness of the opposite gender when involved with them in embarrassing situations, such as the encounter with Oriana Thompson during the Daihaseisai arc. Despite this, Motoharu describes Touma as someone who has a strong self-control, will not attack girls that are asleep, as shown by his behavior around Indeks. Despite this, the narration states that Touma is not a pure saint in regards to his attraction with the opposite sex. As for his relationship with Otinos, the relationship between Otinos and Touma started as one of mutual enemies, with Touma seeing Otinos as one of the most dangerous foes he had ever faced. As the leader of Gremlin, Otinos caused the Hawaii incident and the Baggage City incident, both of which greatly affected Touma. But they rarely met in person for most of the Gremlin saga. Their first encounter also ended with Otinos cruelly crushing Touma's arm and trying to kill him without a second of hesitation. While she acknowledges Imagination Breaker as a danger, Otinos thought that Touma himself is nothing but a human who doesn't know his place in the world, even going so far as to break his will by creating countless cruel worlds to show him how pitiful he is. After some time, Otinos came to the realization that Touma has in fact become the only person capable of understanding her, as a result of going through the many worlds she created and searching for the one she belongs. Those feelings caused her to abandon the goal of creating a new world or returning to her own with the Imagination Breaker. She instead accepts his demand and returns to the world to the one he is familiar with. As a result of this, Touma comes to realize that the one thing that Otinos was ultimately looking for was understanding, which she'd originally hoped to find in her world, but abandoned upon realization she'd found someone who could. Realizing that she had resolved to die as the villain of the world in exchange for that brief respite, Touma decided to protect Otinos against the Anti-Gremlin Alliance, saying he will face the entire world to save her. He does not believe that she could get off easy for her actions in the past and truly believes she should face a fair trial, but he refuses to permit her to be brutally murdered in the name of the Alliance's justice. After becoming allies, he became quite friendly and familiar towards Otinos, enough that she has to continuously remind him that she is a god and that he shouldn't do so. Throughout the novels, Touma and Otinos develop an unbreakable bond where they rely upon each other, as pointed out when Touma confronts Silva and Brunhilde and ultimately when he saves Otinos. Olirus has said that if either Touma or Otinos died in front of one another, many changes could happen, and Touma changing his nature and Otinos becoming a monster far more cruel than what she was before. Among all the characters in the series, Otinos can arguably be considered as the closest to Touma, often insisting to tag along with Touma in his pocket after becoming smaller, in spite of the danger, giving him advice in not only the matters of magic but also showing off how much she understands Touma's nature. Indeed, both Touma and Otinos herself have referenced their relationship as her being Touma's understander. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on Touma. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.